Right, with Human. 101.5, 102.5, The Mountain. Simon and Garfunkel with American before that. Coming up, though, got the Struts, Awesome Mazzy Star, Ben Howard here in just a little while as well. But that's not nearly as important as who I have live here in the studio with me. That's right, from Jefferson Center, the Education and Outreach Coordinator, Mr. Jordan Harmon. How are you, man?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming out. Let's talk a little bit about you. So most people, if you hear the name Jordan Harmon, it's usually because you probably saw him play somewhere. Right?
Yes.
You've been a musician in this market for how long?
I've been doing it a minute. I just turned 30, and about since I was 17, so 13 years, and my, how the time flies.
You are youngin', man. That's good. Yeah, that's a big mouthful title for a guy so young. But we know you're up for it because one of the things that you do that we love is you are essentially the director of the music lab at Jefferson Center.
Yep. That's a simple way of saying it.
Yeah, so talk to me a little bit about what that program does and what its initiative is.
Well, I like, I think a lot of the people in the community, I had no idea how much really happens there until I was there and actually a part of it. And we've got classes that we do. So we've got songwriting classes that we teach. We've got music production classes where we learn about recording and live sound. We've got performance bands where they'll get together in groups and actually perform throughout the community and learn how to put on a performance and how to set up for that. We've got master classes where the artists that come through the Jefferson Center, a lot of the time we'll sit down with the students and talk about their performance and how they found music and what it means to them. And then we also have different people in the community that will come through and do workshops. So we've had people that run studios, people that run music stores, talk about the business of that and kind of give students an idea of different careers in music that they may not have ever realized existed.
Yeah, let's in the interest of going even slightly more vague, you use the word students. So, so the 55-year-old guy listening with the garage band, this ain't for you. This is for students.
Yeah, 12 to 19 years old.
Are these typically public high school students?
We've got public school students, we've got private, we've got homeschool, we've got a little bit of everybody that comes through.
So let's talk a little bit about the history of this. So it's my understanding, it's really, I've asked this question before to a couple of people. This is a program that is not new. This is a program that's been around, I think, since the 1990s.
Yeah, it's been around for quite a while.
But
it's had different iterations
I was gonna
throughout.
Say, it used to be, I think, it was on Kirk Avenue for a while where Fortunato is, and then it used to be over at the Dumas. And then, of course, just in the most recent of years, it actually found its home at Jefferson Center.
Right.
So explain to me the importance, because really you guys could it would almost be easier just for you guys to go, well, we're going to be a performance venue, and that's cool. It's probably easier to make a little money. It's probably easier just for your day-to-day workflow. So why decide to take this on? Because this is a pretty big task. And keep in mind, there are band programs and music programs in schools all over the country, and especially in this region. So why decide to take on that initiative, especially as detailed as you do?
I think something that makes this program really different than the others is that it's more geared towards music it's a little bit more modern in the way that we think of a band. That there are incredible programs that are in the schools for the students through their band programs and things of that nature, that they're doing incredible work. But I know when I was in high school and I was writing music, if I had something like this where I could go and learn how to make a record, where I could go and learn how to run an operating system that would allow me to put the songs I was working on in my bedroom onto a CD and it sound fairly professional, you would have had to drag me out of there every night. And that's something that's a lot different about this program is it's material that you get of, like I said, how to run the recording studio, how to set up for live sound if you're on a gig, and how to run a soundboard. So things that are a little bit different than a lot of programs that you see.
So let's talk a little bit about sort of day-to-day operations in regards to this, and that is the role of technology in all of this. Because I'm a tad bit older than you are, so when I was taking music theory and composition in high school, a recording studio required well, it was still reel to reel.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
there's a 4-track that was like the size of a stove.
Right.
You know, so talk to me a little bit about but in this particular case too, I also want you to kind of touch on the incredible speed in which the evolution of technology is kind of affecting this whole process.
Yeah, so it's funny too, talking about all of that old gear that we went incredibly digital, and then we went, whoa, there was actually some pretty neat things that were happening in that analog stage. And so to that extent, how fast does it move that you go from having the analog to the digital, and now we've got digital versions of analog where you can go in and get a plug-in and put a simulated tape machine on it.
Yeah.
So, it moves as quick as anything else that you've got in technology these days, that we've got systems that are constantly having to be updated throughout the years to keep up, so that when students come in and they want to, they're listening to a song on the radio and they want to make something that's similar to that, then the operating system and the platform that we're working in has to be ready for that so that they can make something similar to what they want.
I was going to say, from a day-to-day operations, how much time do you spend doing research?
A lot. And a lot of it is on the fly, of having a student that comes in and they say, oh man, I really love this song. How do they do that? And I say, let me figure this out. I'll be right back, and then I'll show you how to do it. There'll be a particular song that's using an effect that, we haven't heard before. So we've got to figure it out real quick and make sure that we can teach them how to do it.
If you're just joining, we were talking to Jordan Harmon, who's the Education and Outreach Coordinator for Jefferson Center, and essentially he is the Director of Music Lab. Now, let's talk a little bit about some of the accomplishments of Music Lab over the years. So not only do you have students that are going on to actually have promising careers, I'm thinking of a little guy named Gabe there.
Yeah.
Kind of comes to mind. I just saw him at Stepping Out.
Yeah.
He's incredible.
Absolutely.
But you guys actually, and I implore people to actually go online and look at this. This was a project that you guys had pulled off a couple of years ago with Daryl Scott.
Right.
And the Roanoke Children's Choir.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that program was incredible. We had a lot of the different musicians that came through the Jefferson Center. They all had the song that Daryl Scott wrote, and everybody took their forte that they brought to the world of music, and they put that on the track. And then when it was all said and done, there was this incredible piece of music that had students and different people in the community and all the different musicians that had come through the Jefferson Center that all contributed to this one piece of music that was a really incredible thing.
Yeah, it was kind of fun to see. Like, all of a sudden there's a student, and then there's Del McCurry.
Right.
And then there's a student, and it's the Blind Boys of Alabama. And there's a student, and it was like, this has got to, I bet for a kid, this has got to be really thrilling.
Well, I think it's something, too, that in the moment they don't even realize how incredible it is. And then a couple years later, they look back on it and go, "Oh my goodness, that was me."
Yeah.
That was part of that.
Look it up. It's called World of Song. It was written by Daryl Scott and presented by Jefferson Center. So again, let's talk about this though from kind of a personal standpoint. So there's got to be there's really got to be a great emotional driver for you in all of this. The idea of seeing kids kind of discover this whole process. Talk to me about that.
Well, when I got to the music lab, I knew that I wanted to focus on the students being good humans as much as being great musicians. And that's something that's been really great about the program, is seeing these kids through music, through their growth in music, growing as people and how to treat each other and how to effectively communicate. I laugh with them all the time. I said, if I had somebody that taught me how to communicate with other musicians when I was your age, then I would have been 10 steps ahead of knowing what that process looks like and how to be constructive, but how to clearly communicate. That's something I'm still learning. So, working with them at this age to help them through that process. And I always say the best thing ever for me is that moment when, like I said, we got kids that are 12 to 19. So a lot of them are in the trying to be cool phase, and
that's exhausting.
And seeing and seeing them get that smile on their face that they can't help but smile, and they're fighting it, but they can't help it because they're having a good time and they're proud of themselves.
Yeah.
Like that, to me, is the best moment of it all.
That's great. So just joining us talking to Jordan Harmon, who's the Education Outreach Coordinator for Jefferson Center and also head of Music Lab. Now you have an opportunity for more kids to come in.
Right. Yeah, we are just now getting ready to start enrollment for the fall. And we've got a couple of different options that you can sign up for just the fall semester, and that's $125, or you can sign up for the entire year, and that's $225. And then we've also got the spring semester that will come up after Christmas. So those are the different options, but also it needs to be noted that there are definitely scholarship opportunities. So financial reasons are never a reason not to be part of this program, that we try and keep it affordable, but we also understand that there are times that people need extra help, and we're always there to help in those situations.
Fantastic. And how do people get in touch with you guys and actually start this ball rolling?
You can go to www.jeffcenter.org/education, or you can come by the Jefferson Center and come up to the Music Lab. I'm always happy to give tours if parents and students want to see the space, or come to the main office at the Jefferson Center, and we'll get you in there somehow or some way.
Well, we appreciate you. Jordan Harmon, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, while we got you here, let's give MIPSO's coming on the 24th to Jefferson Center. Why don't we go ahead and give away a pair of tickets?
I like it.
Let's do it. 344-1101 is the number. That's 344-1101. Or if you're outside the Roanoke area, put a 540 in front of it.